No, this is not another butterfly effect work of fiction, but a young adult novel that delves into the dystopian genre head first.
Or in a sidelong motion straight into a train car.
Whew. Also, it's not really just another book that's sitting there in this long line of dystopian novels. It manages to hold its own with a fast-paced plot, some pretty gritty action, and a surprising amount of insight. Typically, coming-of-age novels leave a lot to be desired as far as adventure goes, but we get to come face to face with the realization that coming out into one's own sometimes means physically and ideologically leaving our families and communities behind. In Divergent, we see this through the eyes of 16-year-old Beatrice, who lives in a very Chicago-like dystopian society approximately 200 years in our future. The large gated community is broken into factions, or people who are resolved to one core belief. You see, their society had broken down, and there were a lot of varying opinions as to what had caused its downfall. Had it been people were not honest enough? No one was brave enough to do what was right? Or did we forget how to be kind? How to be selfless? Or did we just forget what peace was like? You have to choose one of these paths once you hit 16, and you don't get to diverge from the path once you've chosen it. Those who feel like they don't fall into one of those factions or fail their initiation become simply known as the factionless, a poverty-stricken people who live in squalor and may only be employed in the very lowest caste careers. And that's where we find ourselves when we begin this story, in the mind of Beatrice just prior to the choosing ceremony, where she will choose her own path. She must decide whether she wants to be brave or smart, generous or selfish, find herself within her family, or decide to define her own personal identity. Hardest of all, though, she must live with her choice and survive the initiation. Oh, and there is a love interest. So this is not a story without violence and language and some pretty rough scenes, but it does have some sweet little romance going on too.